the metal for our boat is here. Let's go unload it.
We got 3 sheets of 90 thousandths 5052 20 feet long sheets of aluminum for the bottom of the boat. Ooh, nice too. What is this, day 3 on a Chris Craft boat?
Day 3.
Okay, so weekend 3, I guess you could call it. And we're running out of time, folks. It's getting chilly out. It's not gonna be too bad. It's gonna be pretty nice today, but what's the date today? October 16th, 2020. And winter in Texas is approaching. A lot of the country's probably already in winter right now. But anyways, we gotta hustle because we got to get most of this sanding and stuff done outside because I'm not doing it in the shop. I don't want dust in the shop. Now, if we can get all the sanding and stuff done outside, I'd be probably willing to do some of the bleaching and staining and stuff inside. So that's kind of our goal, is to get most of the sanding done. And we have to do the aluminum sheathing out here because it's just huge and you can't maneuver that stuff inside the shop because it's so huge. So our goal over the next few weeks is, first thing we gotta do is get the back prepped, bleached, stained, and aluminum applied. Once we get that done, then we can get back on the top, or I guess it's the bottom, but it's the top now, and finish sanding that some more, and then apply the aluminum to the bottom. So today we're gonna focus on the rear of the boat, and it's in pretty decent shape, but we gotta sand it down. So we got a new air file since Eric broke the last one. I'm not sure where this one is made, but oh, this one is made in Taiwan, so we might be in a little bit better shape here. It's not from China. So anyways, it's a Chicago pneumatic one, so it's got a full 1 inch of stroke where the other one was only like a ½ inch, I think. So anyways, hopefully that works out for us on the back here. We got to take the trim off the sides down there real quick. Here, let's talk about some of the process here, so everybody's a little bit aware. Now, I'm still kind of learning this stuff here, but so this is some information I printed off from Snake Mountain Boat Works. I think they're out in Virginia or something, but these guys got a lot of really good information on their YouTube channel. If you go follow them, they show a lot of their progress on there. So anyways, they list their materials and resources on there for different phases of your boat build and restoration. So I got some of the products that they recommend. So let's see here. So right now we're working on the hull preservation material. So first thing is strip all surfaces to bare wood. Whoa, man, that thing's a beast compared to that old one. That thing gets after it. So we got some pretty thick paint and stuff on here, varnish, paint, a lot of stuff. So to start out, I've got some 40 grit on here, which should probably make a lot of guys cringe, but we're gonna get most of it knocked off, and then we'll switch to 80 grit, and then we'll make sure we're going in the direction of the grain with the 80 grit so that it's legit. All right, we decided to step it up here a little bit. We're just gonna get most of this varnish off with this. We gotta be real careful not to go too far though. So as soon as I start to hit wood, I'm gonna stop, and then we'll switch to that with 80 grit. starting to see some of that wood coming through. It's still really pretty wood, and I think having all this varnish on there, you know, looked like somebody just kept putting it on. I think that helped preserve the wood, so that's a good sign. It's just really hard to get off.
Yeah, it looks like it's gumming up when you stand on it.
Yeah, it's gumming this up too.
What grit is that?
80 grit.
Okay.
The wood was actually stained very well. It looks like whatever coating they put on there gave it the red color. It doesn't actually look like it bit into the wood. Like it's just kind of falling off like a layer of paint. Which I don't think that's a major problem. It's just weird. So all these little circles are plugs. They're little chunks of wood that are filling over the screw holes. And so I was a little concerned that once we start sanding on it, they might kind of come loose, but they're not. They're really well intact, and so that's a good sign. So we won't have to repair any of those. We'll just sand it, bleach it, stain it, and move on. That's a good sign because that tells me the rest of the boat's going to be in similar condition. I think we ought to consider using some paint stripper on the sides, because this is taking a while, and that will take an eternity. I don't want to spend that much on sandpaper. What do you think? Getting her smooth. I'm just gonna get it close with this, okay? And then we're gonna switch to long blocks. But there's some lumps in here. Like this is high right here. Okay, we got most of the old varnish stripped off of there. And so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a fresh sheet of 80 grit and I'm gonna feel this with my hand like a body guy would do. And I'm gonna feel for the high spots and the low spots. So I know there's a low spot right here. This part's gonna get covered with aluminum, so this part doesn't have to be perfect. But up here, I would like it to be really straight for a real straight reflection. So what I'm gonna do is just feel for the high spots and try and chop them down before we switch to the longboard. That feels pretty flat just by feeling it with this. Now we're gonna switch to the long block with 80 grit and we're gonna go in the direction of the grain. I'll rough it in with this a little bit and then I'll switch to doing it by hand so we can get some longer strokes. Does it look good?
Yeah, looks great.
Did I get those swirls out?
I don't see him anymore.
That's pretty good for how old is it?
63-year-old.
63-year-old wooden boat.
It's awesome wood. The green pattern
Yeah.
is nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, it's a little colorized up here, but that's just because that's the part that's been sitting in the water the most. But when we put that Dailies bleach on there, it's gonna get rid of all of it. It'll look brighter than this. And then we can stain it. So okay, next thing we probably need to do today before we bleach it is we got to lay out a groove up here for our metal panel to sit in flush. So I'm gonna get some tape and lay out a little ditch right there. We're gonna carve that level flat right there, about that far. That's a little less than 1.5 inches. Okay, now I'm gonna just real quickly do a line there. These things work great on dirt, by the way. Sorry, Sharpie.
Sharpay.
Okay, now we got our line. Now I'm gonna just run a cutoff wheel right there, just a little bit, just to establish our stopping point. Okay, now what we're using here for abrasive is one of our new flex backer pads from HammerFab. You can get these at hammerfab.com. This is made out of rubber, but it's still nice and flat and rigid. And then we're using abrasives here from Jag 10 Tools. You can find them on Instagram, if Instagram's working right. Anyways, this is 50 grit. Okay, now this is just 80 grit on the long block again. Just kind of flattening it out. That's close enough for what we're trying to do there. So that's just going to give some place for the aluminum to sit. Now, what would probably be a good idea is blow all these cracks out and do some of that clear penetrating epoxy sealer in there once we do the back, before we put the aluminum on there. And that way it just really seals this whole back area where it could be potential leaks. Sanded it and now bleach it and soak for 12 hours. All right, so we're ready for the next step here. We're gonna clean this down once real good with some acetone and a lint-free rag. So we're gonna do that first, and then immediately after that, we're gonna use Dailies wood bleaching solution, part A and part B. And I have to double check, but I think what Snake Mountain Boat Works recommends is mixing 3 parts B to 1 part A. So I probably need to look that up real quick, but anyways, we got a mixing cup here. So if it's 3 to 1, we've got a thing right here that can be 3, well, right here, 3 to 1. So you can see how this board is darker than this one, and this board is darker than this one, and you know, they're all kind of different shades. I think those are the original boards. I don't think they've been replaced, but this one is darker because it's got a little bit more, it's not really rotten, but I guess it's been in the water more, so it's had stuff soaked into it more, where this one is not. You know, I don't know, it's just, I guess different boards vary in color, but doing this bleach is going to help basically reset the tone to a white wood. First, we're going to clean the surfaces with some acetone. Acetone evaporates really fast, so you get quite a bit of junk off of there just by doing that. See, we're still getting some junk off of there. I'm just gonna keep going until I get most of it off, or until it stops showing up on my rag. Okay, now we're going to mix 3 parts. Let me read the can again, just to make sure. For a whiter bleach, which is what we're going for, use 1 part bleaching solution A and 3 parts bleaching solution B. So we're going to start with B, and we're going to do 3 parts of B. I'm just going to go up to the 5, to the number 5. And 1 part A. Just want to mix it real thoroughly, make sure we get the proper chemical reaction here. So if we let that little stick set somewhere, it should bleach that stick. Okay, here we go. We're going to start at the bottom and work our way to the top. That's probably good enough. I'm just going to check it for some runs here in a minute. We'll make sure it's not sagging. You see how yellow that stuff turns after you mix it? Both of those things were clear when we started. And then, yeah, somehow clear to yellow to white. I don't know. I don't think it's supposed to work good. So we just want to make sure we don't get streaks, vertical streaks. Alright, we're done with day 3 on the Chris Craft Sportsman here. We got 2 coats of Daly's A and B bleach on here, so the second coat is still kind of evaporating. You can see some splotchiness, but look at how white those boards turned out. Man, what a difference from earlier today. So today was pretty productive. I'm pretty pumped that we're making forward progress on this thing. And so we dug the little ditch up here for our aluminum to sit in. Now the aluminum is going to come past this seam a little bit and then have an angle on it and cut and sit right in there, and we'll epoxy that on there. But first, the next step is tomorrow we're going to neutralize this bleach in the morning, let it dry for a few hours, and then we're going to apply the stain. So, and then we'll have to let it set for a few days, so probably won't get back to it till next weekend or whatever. And then we'll do the clear penetrating epoxy sealer, and then we're going to mask off these seams and squeeze some I think it's called Sikaflex in there, and then we'll be ready to do some high build varnish, so stay tuned.